Inspired by the success of British deception in North Africa earlier in the war, the United States established a top-secret unit to deceive and confuse the enemy of its own. The U.S. Army conducted an extensive recruitment campaign aimed at enlisting art school students across the country to outfit this unconventional unit. Nicknamed the Ghost Army, they used their talent to create a traveling roadshow of deception to fool and confuse the enemy forces. The 23rd Headquarters Special Troops was created and comprised of 1,100 artists, designers, engineers, radio operators, truck drivers, and actors. The Ghost Army were mainly divided into 4 areas. The camouflage expert would deploy life-sized inflatable vehicles such as tanks, trucks, aircraft, and artillery. Benefiting from its name, the camouflage experts worked under the cloak of night using gasoline-fueled air compressors to inflate the rubber vehicles and were painted with details authentic enough to deceive Nazi aerial reconnaissance. The second element was a signal company tasked to send misleading communications and even mimicked operators' unique styles. The third element was sonic deception. Sound engineers blared pre-recorded sounds of military drills and movements on enormous speakers to create the atmosphere of an incoming military. And for the last element, a group of actors skilled at impersonating different units, going around town openly talking about military operations and personnel to deceive any German spies that might be lingering. The Ghost Army engaged in its first large-scale deceptions in the summer of 1944, as it deployed 50 dummy tanks and positioned sound trucks within a few hundred yards of the front line during the siege of the French port of Brest. As part of Operation Brittany, the Ghost Army deceived the Germans about the location of General George Patton's Third Army, which eluded the enemy and raced eastward across France. When a yawning gap opened in Patton's line during his attack of the fortified French city of Metz in September 1944, the Ghost Army again aided the general. Until a division arrived to plug the gap, the illusionists held the precarious line for 7 days with their inflatables and loudspeakers that played the sounds of rumbling tanks, shouting troops, and even sergeants barking out orders for soldiers to put out their cigarettes. The Ghost Army's radio deception also drew the Germans away from Patton's relief of the Belgian town of Bastogne during the Battle of the Bulge. The Ghost Army pulled off its most elaborate hoax in March 1945 as part of Operation Viersen. As the Ninth Army prepared to make the dangerous crossing of the Rhine River, the Ghost Army positioned itself 10 miles south of the intended landing spot to redirect German attention. The Ghost Army inflated both 600 dummies and their own size by impersonating 2 divisions and 40,000 troops. To give the impression that the 30th and 79th Infantry Divisions were amassing, radio chatter spread false reports about their intended movements, and sonic trucks blasted a soundtrack of pontoon bridge construction, artillery fire, and even officers swearing. The Ghost Army stenciled fabricated division numbers and insignias onto their vehicles and erected phony headquarters and command posts manned by fake commanders and generals. They sewed counterfeit shoulder patches onto their uniforms and boisterously discussed their false intelligence in local bars and cafes to ensure their disinformation would be overheard by any lurking German spies. The ruse worked. While the Nazis attacked the Ghost Army, the Ninth Army crossed the Rhine with little resistance. Weeks later, the Ghost Army's mission came to an end along with World War II. The soldiers may have trafficked in falsehoods, but their heroism was all too real. While 3 of its members were killed and approximately 30 were wounded, the Ghost Army saved the lives of between 15,000 and 30,000 American servicemen. Despite the Ghost Army's pivotal role in the Allied victory, few outside of the unit knew of its existence until decades after the war had ended in 1996. And on February 1st, 2022, President Joe Biden awarded the Congressional Gold Medal to the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops for their use of innovative tactics during World War II. That saved many lives and significantly contributed to the defeat of the Axis powers. Be sure to like and subscribe for more history videos and comment about your opinion and on how should I improve my videos.